The British Library, 2028. Gordon Ramsay walks through the stacks and he whispers to a patron.
Section L, third shelf, spine facing out.
The patron is trembling, not from the information, from the eye contact. Gordon Ramsay, librarian. The guy who was supposed to be a professional footballer, then a chef, but became neither? Yeah, in this universe, he's built the most efficient and most feared library system in Europe. How? Because at 19 years old, a library failed him when he needed it the most. And Gordon Ramsay doesn't forget. 1985. Gordon's playing for Oxford United youth team. He's 19. This is it. His shot at going professional. Glasgow Rangers is scouting him. Then, a tackle. His knee gives out. Torn ACL. Career over. The physio says,
you need surgery, then 6 months of rehab. If you want to walk normally, you need to learn the exercises. Here's the name of a book.
Gordon goes to his local library in Stratford-upon-Avon. Gordon asks for the book. The librarian can't find it.
Try the medical section.
Gordon finds the medical section. 17 shelves, no organization, books randomly placed, spines facing all directions, some lying flat. He spends 2 hours and 40 minutes looking. Never finds the book. Goes home. His knee gets worse because he doesn't know how to rehab properly. Gordon realizes information is useless if you can't access it when you need it. The library had the book. It was always there, hidden somewhere. But somewhere isn't good enough. Gordon can't play football anymore. He needs a job. So he works as a potwasher at a local Indian restaurant, bottom of the ladder, but he pays attention. The head chef has a system. Every pot has its place. Every spice is alphabetized. Every recipe card is in a binder that's indexed and laminated. When the rush hits, the chef never scrambles. He knows exactly where everything is. So Gordon asks him,
why so organized?
The chef says,
stress reviewed your system. If it breaks under pressure, it wasn't a system.
Gordon thinks about the library, about his meal, about the hours wasted. He decides,
I'm going to fix that.
1986. Gordon applies to be a library assistant. The same library that failed him. Gets hired. Minimum wage. Shelving books. First day, the head librarian gives him the tour.
We use Dewey Decimal. Fiction alphabetically by author. Just put things back where they belong.
So Gordon asks,
where's the system for finding books quickly during the busy hours?
The head librarian stares.
What?
The system when 10 people need books at once. How do we get them in and out in under 2 minutes?
Gordon, this is a library, not a restaurant.
Gordon goes quiet, but he starts tracking. How long does it take people to find books? Average, 11 minutes. How many people give up? 34%. How many books are shelved incorrectly? 1 in 8. He doesn't tell anyone. He just knows. 1987. A teenager comes into the library. She needs a book to help with a school project on World War II. Gordon's working the desk. Finds her the perfect book in 40 seconds. The head librarian walks over.
Gordon, you can't just hand people books. They need to learn to use the catalog system.
Gordon stares.
She doesn't need to learn the system. She needs to learn about World War II.
The process is part of the educational experience.
You mean making her waste 15 minutes searching Bates' character?
Gordon, I don't appreciate.
She has 3 hours before this is due. If she spends 15 minutes here, that's less time lighting. The system is punishing her for using the library.
He gets written up. Insubordination. Quits the next day. Gordon could go to culinary school. Everyone tells him to do that. Instead, at 22, he uses his savings, £3,000, leaves a tiny space in a strip mall in Banbury. Opens a library, just 800 books, all hand-selected by him. He calls it the Organized Mind Library. And here's what's different. No Dewey Decimal. Books are organized by problem. I need to fix my car section. I'm starting a business section. My relationship is failing section. Each section, 10 to 15 books. That's it. The best ones, pre-vetted by Gordon. And here's the controversial part. You don't browse. You walk in. Gordon asks you,
what do you need to solve?
He walks you to the exact book and hands it to you. You're out in less than 90 seconds. People think he's insane.
Libraries are about discovery, exploration, scientific.
To which Gordon says,
No, libraries are about finding the information you need before you give up.
Month 1, 23 visitors. Month 3, 140 visitors. Month 6, over 400 visitors. But why? Because people tell their friends.
There's this library where the guy actually helps you.
1990, Gordon opens his second location in Oxford. But here's where it gets weird. He starts hiring ex-chefs. People ask,
Why chefs?
to which Gordon says,
They understand systems under pressure. A library at 5 p.m. is a kitchen during dinner hours. You need people who don't panic.
by 1995, 7 organized mind libraries exist in UK. 1998, the British Library Association sends an inspector. They're furious. Gordon's libraries don't follow any standards. No Dewey Decimal, no card catalogs, no browsing atmosphere. The inspector shows up unannounced. Friday, 5 p.m. Peak time. 17 people are standing in line. Gordon and his staff process them all in just 12 minutes. Every person walks out with exactly what they need. The inspector stops Gordon.
Mr. Ramsay, where is the respect for traditional librarianship? Where is the quiet contemplation?
Gordon looks at the empty lobby.
Ma'am, with respect, your conditional library would still have 16 people standing in that line, frustrated, about to leave, deciding libraries aren't worth it.
People are already gone with their books. The inspector writes in her notes. She leaves. 2 weeks later, Gordon's libraries are denied accreditation. The ruling.
Does not meet standards for proper library operation.
Gordon frames the rejection letter, hangs it in every library he owns. He adds a note underneath them.
Standards that don't serve people aren't standards. They're obstacles.
Memberships triple. 2003. Gordon's got 15 libraries across the UK. Then Borders bookstore chain makes him an offer. £8 million to buy the whole operation. Their plan? Turn this system into a Borders Express library inside every store. Gordon meets with their executives. They show him the pitch deck.
We'll scale you to 200 locations. Keep a name on it. Gordon Ramsay Libraries, powered by Borders.
And the staff training?
We handle it. 6-week program. Very efficient.
My training is 6 months.
Gordon, with respect, it's just pointing people to books. We can teach that in 6 weeks.
Gordon closes the pitch deck.
You think it's about pointing? It's about listening. You can't teach someone to care about a stranger's problem in 6 weeks.
Mr. Ramsay, this is an £8 million offer.
And it's a 0 million acceptance.
He walks out. Borders goes bankrupt in 2011. Gordon opens 5 more libraries that year. Someone asks Gordon why he turned down £8 million.
Would you sell your recipe to someone who would microwave?
But here's what actually spread his system. Not money, not publicity. Librarians who quit their jobs to work for him. 2008. A librarian named Margaret from Manchester Municipal Library shows up at Gordon's Oxford location. She's been a librarian for 23 years. She tells Gordon,
I spent 2 decades shushing people and enforcing lead. Then I visited one of your libraries. Watched you help an 8-year-old find the book about why his parents were divorcing. In 90 seconds you gave the kid the exact right book. I went back to my Abilene and realized I'd never once done that.
she asks for a job.
You take a pay cut?
I'd take a purpose increase.
By 2015, 47 librarians have quit traditional systems to join Gordon's. The British Library Association calls it the Ramsay defection. Gordon calls it
People finally understanding what libraries are supposed to be.
a newspaper headline reads,
Is Gordon Ramsay stealing Britain's librarians?
Gordon frames it next to his rejection letter and writes underneath,
No, I'm giving them their jobs back.
2025. Gordon's 59 years old. He's got 47 libraries, trained over 200 staff, but the network isn't growing anymore. Not because it's failing, because Gordon refuses to compromise. Every new hire still goes through 6 months of training. He still interviews them personally, still asks.
Why do you think information matters?
If they can't answer, they don't get hired. People tell him,
Gordon, you could franchise this. Scale to 500 locations.
To which Gordon says,
I could also ruin it. No thanks.
but here's what did scale: the philosophy. Public libraries started quietly adopting his methods, not officially. Just staff who visited his libraries, saw how it worked, and went back and reorganized their sections. By 2028, 17 public library systems in the UK have problem-based sections. They don't call them that. They don't credit Gordon, but he knows. Because the 18% follow-through rate, now it's 34% nationally. Still nowhere near his 91%, but better than it was. So, is this better? Gordon Ramsay, the footballer, injured at 19, career over before it began. Gordon Ramsay, the chef, would have fed millions, made them happy for an evening. Gordon Ramsay, the librarian, taught millions to solve their own problems permanently. Because here's what Gordon understood. The problem was never that information doesn't exist. The problem is people give up before they find it. So he built a system where giving up wasn't an option. Same intensity, same refusal to accept inefficiency, same obsession with getting it right the first time, just applied to knowledge instead of kitchens. So, what do you think? Better with Gordon yelling in kitchens or revolutionizing how libraries work? Gordon's system is perfection, and in the parallel lives universe, he uses it to perfect libraries. What if the people we know lived completely different lives? That's parallel lives. Subscribe if this broke your brain in the best possible way, and tell us what celebrity we should drop next into the parallel universe. And remember, if the parallel lives Gordon can change libraries, you can also change whatever you want to. All you need is the hunger to do that.